check out and see where we're at here. We gotta come back. We gotta come this way a little more. And then we need to side shift back towards the back, I believe, to get this thing. I don't know, it's probably not going to be too far off once we get it. Oh, wires and shit in the way everywhere, it never ends. With all the wires, especially the newer that it is, more damn wires it's going to have on it. Let's get that hose to stay somewhere. Well, let's come away. Let's come ahead here a little more with her. There you go. Come down a little bit at a time till we get her where we want it. Shut her off and just give her a gear. That way she don't go backwards, and just kind of go easy with it. Alright, let's go a little bit down and go check it. We don't need to drop the damn thing. It'll be very, very bad. And I'll just go to bankruptcy court. Here. It would be nice to have an extra hand here guiding stuff in. Story of my life. Do it on your own. Let's just grab the lever here and turn that key off. I heard something there, so let's go look at her. I wish that sucker would straighten out a little bit. It'd be kind of nice. A little crooked in there. Might actually work out to her benefit, though. Actually, we need to go back towards the front of the machine quite a ways. Side shift it towards the front. But we should be able to go down quite a ways before we need to do that. That's the mast on this. The mast on the forklift making all the noise. I don't know what the hell is that. You don't really like to hear noises like that when you're doing something like this. At least it ain't the transmission in the tractor, it's the damn forklift. I need to look up in the service manual. I'm just kind of curious what this thing weighs. Now we're getting to the point where we're gonna have to get her side shifted towards the front of the tractor. Yeah, that's what time it is there. If this thing's running out of fuel. It's kind of hesitating on me there a bit. Okay, so now where are we? Got a hose here that's going to interfere with our mount. I'm going to get it there out of the way. And then this actually goes up here in the front where this bolt is, which I guess we need to probably get it kind of halfway situated. Okay. I'm trying to get my head right. I used to always pack 2 brown dogs with me, and one was named Joe, and he got into some strychnine the other day and killed him. And boy, it sure did tear me up. He was a good friend, good guy. He was only 5 years old. He should have been around a lot longer than that. Yeah, it's like kicking you in the gut. Can't catch your breath, you know, you just can't believe he's gone. Yeah, he never lied. You know, that's what the guy told me the other day. He goes, "You sure are broken up about that dog." And I said, "Yeah, that dog never lied to me." And I says, "That dog never lied. He got up every morning and was happy. He was happy every morning he got up to go to work and to go. You know, I mean, if more people could be like him, this world would be a lot better place, I'll tell you that. And be honest with you, for about half the people in this world anymore, I'd probably give that dog way more of a chance than I would them people." Okay, we're on that pump drive there. That's not good. It's because this thing's sitting so damn crooked in here. I don't know how to straighten that out. Gotta go more towards the front. That's the only solution. If we can side shift some more, raise it back up a little bit. Huh. Great, now the same. I bet it's out of fuel. Son of a gun. I did not need that right now. Alright. I'm sure the fuel gauge don't work on this old piece of shit. Well, I got the implement pump in it, but I was going to put the front drive line in it next, but I'm going to have to climb underneath after we can get the cab and everything on today, but I can't do nothing until I change this U-joint. I didn't see that when I pulled it off. I grabbed it to put it in there and I thought, man, that thing feels rough. That would explain that vibration I was feeling when I drove it over here. I thought, geez, is that transmission that bad that it's vibrating like that? That would explain the vibration right there. So I guess we're on hold on that, but we can keep going. We're going to get as far as we can, and tomorrow we'll just have to climb underneath the tractor and put it in there the hard way, but I'm not going to let that hold me up today. Boy, guys, look at this smoke. Southern California blowing up north up here. Santa Rosa and all that shit that's on fire down there. Well, it's been a bad fire year. I think that's... what is that? That's hay chaff or something blowing around. Where the hell? Must be coming off that mast up there somewhere. What the hell is that? Well, this ought to be a pretty good view up here. Situation. Yeah. screwed up. I might have to put that thing in, shift this hood, and see if I'm going to have enough room in this other fork. Hopefully it doesn't get the damn stack. We'll see what happens here. Okay, now what I want to do is just get it steadied up, get the me quit swaying around on me. Let's go back a bit. And by the time I get it straightened out, it'll be close. Let's go down there. I think I'm still gonna have to go back the other way a little bit. Chain it out a little closer to the end of the fork this time than I did last time. Go back that way a little bit. Backwards. Maybe I go up just a touch. Get her kind of freed up. And then let's go to... Alright. Now let's go see where we're at. Things like this, you just don't want to rush. You want to kind of take your time and make sure things are going the way they ought to go. I could probably raise that. I don't know. It's going to be kind of screwing me a little bit, but that ain't too bad, I guess. My mount's going to anywhere be close to lining up. Maybe. That back crossover line, I ought to just pull that off. Let's climb up there and let's just pop it off and get it out of the way. I remember I kind of fought it last time, pulling the cab off. It was hanging. I had to get off about 5 times to keep pulling it over the controllers and all that stuff. So let's just pop it off there and be done with it. It's on the top of the tank, so you wouldn't think there would be any fuel up there. Which way is going to be the easiest? Probably. I don't know. Let's try this one here. Just getting off my hat here. There we go. You know, something that's kind of on my mind. California used to be a really, really great place. And I'll tell you anymore. Our government and all the idiots that vote them in, they came out there and Jerry Brown said that they were gonna, in 10 years from now, which would be 2027, they were going to they were going to ban all gas and diesel engines. And what's funny about the whole story is I was in AutoZone getting parts the other day, and this knucklehead standing in front of me had big dreadlocks in his hair and, you know, looked like he hadn't taken a shower in 2 weeks, and he he says, oh yeah, he's telling the guy behind the counter just how great it was going to be that. Oh shoot, I got company. I'll be back. Anyway, where I left off, this guy was standing there and telling the cashier, the guy there selling him auto parts, how great it was that they were going to ban them terrible diesel and gas engines in California. And I listened to him yammer on for quite a while, and finally I asked him, I said, kind of interjected myself into the conversation, I said, where are you going to plug them in at? And he says, excuse me? And I said, where are you going to plug those electric cars that you know, that they're all going to force on everybody like a communist? And he says, well, he says they're gonna be charging stations. I said, okay. So what's gonna power up the charging stations? He goes, well, I'm not following you. And I said, well, you guys on the Klamath River, you guys wanting all the damn the salmon and all that stuff to, you know, swim back upstream, so you want all the hydroelectric dams took off the river, and that's already been passed. I mean, it's in the works. They're already charging us for it on our power bills. So, you know, that's the cleanest energy you can get, it's a hydroelectric dam. So they don't like that. So then I proceeded to tell him, I said, you don't like coal-fired plants, do you? And he goes, no, those are pollutive. And then I said, you don't like the solar panels because it sets off too much convection or radiant heat and it fries the birds. You don't like the windmills because the birds go into the props. I said, what do you like? I mean, you guys are living in La La Land. It's just unbelievable the way they think. They just don't know how anything works. I mean, you know, so I proceeded to tell him, I said, so again, where are you going to plug it in at? You know, and the other thing is an electric car gets fewer miles on a charge of battery than you can get a little Toyota car and go 400 miles on a tank of fuel. You know, and you can get in one of them electric cars. I think the Chevy Volt's got like 237 mile range. So which car is less efficient and burning more energy? It's going to be the electric one. And it'll take more coal and more everything else to power the power grid up to charge them. They're going backwards here. It's just, you know, man, it just blows my mind, the people, what they say, and don't research anything, don't know how anything works in real life, because they've never done anything, but they've lived in their little concrete palace in the city somewhere their whole life, and never left a 1 square block radius and done anything. So, I don't know. That's another thing I whine about. I'm sure I'll get some good comments on that one. But I think I got a pretty good feel for most of the people that watch this channel. They're probably going to agree with me. I don't think I get too many dreadlock and wearing hippies watching it, but. And the other thing is, I mean, if they ban, I mean, I'm not so sure as to what they're going to do if they're going to try to ban, you know, ag vehicles and everything like that. If they do that, they're absolutely, talk about a way to just bankrupt your economy. Talk about a way to have a revolt. Go ahead, Jerry. Give her a whirl there, partner. There's going to be a bunch of people give you the #1 sign and tell you to carry on. We got to be getting fairly close here. I got away with leaving that. Let's see there, where are we? We're kind of a little bit crooked here. I need to come this way a little bit. Let's go this way just a touch with that squeeze. Go all the way down. Let's see if we can get our mount bolts through there. Yeah, shoot, I kind of wish I Gonna try to move right along today and get this thing fired up and calibrate the transmission and all that stuff, but I don't think that's gonna happen. This side's not. I need to tilt that mast ahead because it's not quite sitting square, but we can get that mount in. I think. Well, maybe not. See? That'll kind of guide her down in there, I think. Should be another mount bolt in here somewhere. I'm gonna have to tilt that thing ahead a little bit. That's what I'm gonna have to do. Get her kind of squared up. Boy, I sure hope this one calibrates okay and everything goes well, and I don't have to pull the sumbitch back out of there and turn it back apart. Try that. See what we got going on there now. I don't know if I like that too much. Yeah, I need to go back the other way, it looks like. Miserable prick. Now I gotta get that washer. There's a washer that goes in between the mount and scooted her right off of there. Well, please don't let that thing decide to fall down. Try not to knock that out of there again. My goal is to get everything ready to go today, with the exception of the front drive line. That's my goal anyway. Sometimes I don't usually meet them. It's getting dark earlier than it usually gets dark. And okay, I got that one started. I was talking to my buddy Pete the other day, and he used to work for a dealership before they got bought out by this big dealership network, and he went on his own too, and he said that he watched those guys one day putting a cab on a tractor over there. And he's pretty sharp. Old Pete is. He was always the guy you always called when you wanted something fixed on warranty. You didn't want them other guys coming over. Let's put it this way, okay? I worked for that company. We had bought like 18 new tractors at one time. And the part of the dealer's deal was they were going to perform the first service on them. So I had, in that shop that I used to be in for the company, we had pneumatic pumps on our bulk tanks to pump our hydraulic fluid and our engine oil. So these two dealer mechanics come over, wasn't Pete, and they proceed to start, servicing them. But they get the first two tractors in there. There's one working on each tractor, and they had like 17 of these tractors to do in a couple days to service them all. And he goes over there to me and says, I can't get no oil to come out of this. And I go over there, and it was one of those Graco pumps that had the fitting on the end of the hose. I said, yeah, you turn that counterclockwise and then the oil comes out. So I turned it on for him, and So then it's got an interlock on the handle. When you pull the handle all the way closed, it locks. And there's a little button right on your middle finger. You just push that and it'll release the handle to where it quits pumping again. So I get over there and I had a Challenger torn apart. And I'm working away, and all of a sudden he goes, "Holy shit, I can't shut this thing off." And just oil is going everywhere. I mean, there's probably 4 or 5 gallons on the ground. And I get over there and he can't shut the handle off, and I just clicked the little button and said, "Golly, what are you guys don't know how to run a pump, and you guys are gonna come over here and work on somebody's $150,000-$200,000 tractor?" I just couldn't believe it, you know. Alright, so the cab's sitting down. I gotta tighten the mounts up. I gotta put the of course the driveline in tomorrow, but I'm gonna keep going this afternoon until it probably gets it's getting dark pretty early. It's getting dark about 6:30, 7 o'clock now, so I don't know what time is it now. 4 o'clock. I should pretty well have her buttoned up with everything on it by then, with the exception of the drive line. I'll have to climb up underneath and sling it up in there, but I'm gonna go ahead and put my hydraulic tank on and all that, and plug all the controllers back in, the wiring and all that stuff, and put the cab pressurization lines back on the cab and all that. So we'll keep rolling along here, and tomorrow hopefully we'll get her calibrated and everything will be good, I hope, and we can get paid. It's always good to get paid. Alright guys, so I'll probably be talking to you and giving you either a good thumbs up or a holy shit, and here we go. Alright guys, I've got her pretty well together. Went to calibrate it yesterday, wouldn't calibrate on clutch M. Ended up putting an element leak check on it to make sure something wasn't wrong, real serious, and element leak check was fine. Had all good pressures in each packs. So then I swapped shift valve M, which is actually shift valve M for clutch H, which is the next one down here, and then it failed clutch H. So then I switched it back to clutch M, and then it failed clutch M, and then I tried it one more time and swapped it again, and it failed clutch H. So as you can see, I have a new coil there. If you can't really see it. There's the new coil and valve. The valve is probably what was screwed up. The coil, I ohm checked it. They had the same ohms as the good ones that were in there. But now we're going to see if we can make it past calibration again, because I'm not letting it leave here until it does. Alright, so what you want to do here, get you a couple spare 10 amp fuses. Shove one in the diagnostic data link, and down here in F22, that is for power shift transmission only. So go ahead and fire it up. Alright, so let's see here. Let's see, we want to go to our PCU controller, flash to pass, and I'll just turn the right turn, and we'll go to F22, and that'll be our calibration. Oh, shoot, I'm past it. This thing's got some engine code flying up. It was doing that before I worked on it. So you want to go to about 1700 RPM. Okay, and then you want to take your shift lever, go to forward, and then bump it. why isn't it doing it? Oh, I forgot to flash the pass. All right, and then bump that. It says CLD right now, which means the oil's too cold, so it's gonna start cycling the clutches by itself to get the oil warmed up. And it'll take 20 minutes for it doing that, for it to warm the damn oil up. And what it's going to do is go through all the clutches one at a time. Once it gets past its warm-up stage, it'll start doing like CH1, CH2, which means CH1 will be clutch 1, or C1H, clutch 1 hold, clutch 2 hold, clutch 3 hold. And then it'll go on the clutch L hold, clutch M, clutch H hold. After all the hold tests are done, then it'll go into the fill test to basically fill the clutch packs up, drain them, fill them up, drain them, and it's kind of doing its self-element leak check is what it's doing. And once it gets all those values stored, and it ends, oh, speed, I got a little bit too much RPM, see? I gotta start over, go back to park. I must have bumped that with my wrist while I was yapping. So anyway, once it gets all the calibration values stored after you've saved it, after it's ended and you shut the key off, then it applies that. It knows what clutch modulation when it's taken one range out and put another range in, so it just makes them shift smoother. So it'll be a while. Right now. Well, I'll be back here in a little bit once it's actually in the calibration process. Alright, so we're on C1H finally. Sometimes you'll go to calibrate and it'll fail a clutch and you'll have to start over and do it again. It did it twice to me yesterday, and then I went right through them, and then it passed it the second time, and it was weird. It was, yeah, you know, the 8000 series, I've had to do it 100 times on the 8000 series. You know, the difference on the 8000 series, you can cycle the clutch pedal and skip it. I don't think you can do that on this one. I didn't see that anywhere in the service manual. Yesterday, every time I got to C clutch M is when it failed. And then I swapped shift valve and the coil from clutch M to clutch H, take the one in clutch H and put it on clutch M, and then clutch M would pass and then clutch H would fail. So here's CRH, that's clutch reverse hold. You know, as far as the elements, the seal rings, all that stuff, you know, piston seals, I'm confident all that stuff's fine because I did an element leak check too yesterday on it, and all the pressures were great. So oh, I sure hope you pass. No problems, please, please pass. So just passed the clutch reverse. Now it's doing clutch A hold, and it'll do clutch B hold, then clutch C hold, and after clutch C it'll go to clutch L, which was clutch L was the one that failed on us, that was slipping, and then we'll be on the clutch M, and then or clutch N. It's supposed to be M, but the way the segments are set out on the display here, it's clutch M on the test, but then it'll be clutch H at the end, and then it goes through all the fill tests. I haven't even got to the fill test yet on it. I never could get past clutch N failing on me yesterday. I even took that shift valve apart, but you know, it's got the cartridge that the coil slides over, you know, and there's a little valve in there. You can't take that part apart that I could see on it. Now I took the other end apart with the actual part that moves the oil to apply the clutch and exhaust it, and I couldn't find any. I thought maybe there was some clutch material or something from the transmission failing stuck in the valve, because on the 8000 series they'll do that. They'll get a bunch of clutch material floating around the transmission, and it'll get in the valves, and then the valves won't stroke far enough and put enough oil to the clutches, which is bad because you want to make sure they pass calibration. If you get a valve like this that's not acting right, the whole valve can screw the whole transmission up again, one clutch pack, if it's not stroking far enough to get enough oil to it for lubrication and for clutch apply. So it's really, really important. Clutch L was the one that failed on us. Let's see if she passes. It was passing yesterday. Clutch N's the one that I could never get to pass. I could get it to pass when I swapped the coils around, or the coil on the valve. Now, I don't think anything's wrong with the coil. The coil ohmed out to the same ohms the other coils did, so had to be something in that cartridge valve. The only thing I can think of. Well, here we go with clutch in. This is the one that is the problem child. Please pass, you son of a gun. I've done stuff like this before and put a brand new part in, and it still failed, and then I could take it and swap it again, and then it'd pass, and then figured out after 2 or 3 hours of screwing around that you got a brand new valve that was bad. That's happened before. All right, it passed. So CHH, clutch H, this is the last hold test, and then we're on to clutch fills. And I'm pretty confident the clutch H should pass. It passed yesterday. Usually if they'll pass the hold test, they'll pass the fill test just fine. If you guys, because I can't really see it through the screen of this GoPro. It's kind of dim there, you know, where you can't seem like you can't really read it from this through the screen on the GoPro. But if you can't read it, it'll say 1700 at the top. Oh, it just failed clutch H. It failed clutch H. You son of a gun! Why did it do that? We're going to start over. Golly, see, that's what happens. It passed clutch H twice yesterday when I had the coil swapped around. When we get to clutch H, I'll be back. Make sure we see if we can get this one to pass. Maybe I should have got 2 damn valves. Alright guys, so I finally got it to pass clutch H. I knew it took a known good coil off 5th stage, which is, I don't remember what clutch it is, but I swapped the 2, and then it passed both of them. So if I know, man. I don't know. Sometimes these things during calibration are so temperamental. So I've done through C1 fill, now I'm on C2 fill. So hopefully this ain't so temperamental like the rest of it's been. You'd think if it passed the you know, the hold test, that it would pass the fill test just fine, because I mean obviously that clutch is applied on the hold test, and if the clutch pistons were leaking, it would slip and it wouldn't pass the hold test. So who knows, that it just, they're so temperamental that you never know. You never know till you just, I had an 8420 wheel tractor that, I mean, I don't know, man, I kept swapping shift valves and it wouldn't make any difference, and doing element leak checks on it, loop checks on it, and everything passed. And I mean, I had to it took me all day long. It was something in the power shift controller just wasn't seeing stuff right, you know, and it took me all day long, and I finally got one that passed, and I was like, you piece of shit, you know. But you just don't feel good about letting it leave the shop, especially with something with this much money and labor and everything like that into it, till it passes. So we're on clutch A fill now. Yeah, I want to go drive the thing for a while, and you know, but I don't want to drive it until it passes calibration. That way I know that it's going to shift smooth and it's not going to be harsh engagements or anything like that. So we'll go through clutch A fill, then it should be CBF, which would be clutch B fill. Okay, now we're on clutch B fill, and then you get it. CCF would be the next one. And then we go to CLF, then C, I think NF, yeah, CNF, then C, HF. Now we're on CCF. After this one, we got 3 more clutches. Hooray, hooray, I hope. You know, a lot of guys can't figure out, you know, people like this, they've seen me work, and they've, you know, a couple of these tractors for this particular owner, I've split and torn transmissions apart right in his shop. And when the first time, because he's never had his own mechanic that could, I'm not saying that I'm the greatest thing there ever was, but he just never had his own mechanic there that could do anything like that. You know, once it got to any engine rebuild or transmission rebuild, they'd send it off somewhere. Well, I split one in his shop there, just, you know, and had the transmission completely gutted, and he just couldn't believe it. And ever since then, he has a kind of a deeper appreciation for what guys like us do. You know, he sees it ain't some cakewalk, you know, especially if you're trying to make this thing right. It can be an ordeal like this. I mean, you can spend 10-15 hours calibrating and screwing with it to make sure it passes, you know, so you can give it you know, a clean bill of health when it leaves, and you can feel a little, you know, a little confident about what's going on. That you don't. My problem is I actually have a conscience, and I worry all night if that thing's doing okay, and I just can't sleep right if it doesn't pass. Now we're on CLF. That's the clutch that originally failed on us. Now we're on CNF. Come on, baby. Watch it fail the clutch H fail again, you son of a bitch. Pretty confident CN will pass because that shift valve was bad, but there must have been something goofy with the shift valve on that one for some reason on clutch H, because when I swapped it with the other one, then it passed. I don't know.
I might call him and ask him. Those shift valves and the coils are $260, so with this, I would probably just tell him that, you know what, we ought to just change them all. There's 1, 2, 3, oh, there's 9 of them, so $1,100 worth of, you know, about 12, not $1,300 actually, $1,300 worth of coils and shift valves for a $38,000 transmission. Yeah, I said it's probably worth just changing all of them. I'm gonna call him tonight and see if he likes that idea, that it's a pretty good insurance policy, because if he doesn't want to change them all, then I can't completely warranty it. I mean, you know, if a valve sticks closed, one of them old valves, and smokes a clutch pack, then I'm on the hook for it because he didn't change all the valves. So if you changed all the valves and you put brand new valves in there, you could, all right, see that, guys? It says end. That means she's calibrated, baby. All right, she's calibrated. So let's pull our 10-amp fuses out. We could probably go drive this rough riding son of a bitch. And they are. These things ride rougher than shit. Let's fire it up. First gear. You might be happy because it passed calibration, but you never know how a transmission's gonna work, and you know, until you put a load on it. When they put a ripper behind this thing and they rip for about a week and they don't have no problems, I'll feel a hell of a lot better. Sixth gear, seventh gear, it's really smooth. It'll be a little bit of a bump between ranges. I think the range shift is between 11th and 12th. 10, 11, 12. Take her out on the pavement. Maybe knock down a power pole or something. Wouldn't take much of this big bastard. Yeah, I drove it yesterday with the calibration values not set in it. It was pretty rough between the upshift from 11th to 12th was fine, but the downshift was rough. It really threw the brakes on. Now it seems like it's pretty smooth. Let's go back to 11th. Go back to 11th now. Oh, it's, man, whatever. Rough riding son of a bitch, man. These things shake themselves to death, you know what? If it's the dirt or just the
to get out when I get back and make sure all my driveline stuff's tight. The 30 series were a lot smoother riding tractor. These sumbitches here, there is no suspension at all. And they'll just beat you to death. It's like driving a regular old cat. You know, and if your tracks start getting worn out, then it just gets worse and worse and worse. The ride does. I mean, the tracks give it a little bit of cushion, but I'm telling you, these 20 series, the 9020 series, are track machines, are rough riding. There's 18th gear. Here in the dirt, make sure nothing's leaking or nothing's making noise. This thing rides so damn rough and the cab's making so much damn noise you can't hear nothing. Really happy with the way it shifts. There's no harsh engagements anywhere in it. Anywhere. These steering pumps kind of make a little hissing noise when they're running. So far, so good. Alright, let's start out in the low hole, number 1, and shift our way up. Third, fourth.
probably bump them down and shift into all gears kind of as we go. Make sure everything's going to be all right in every gear. I sure wish I had something to hook onto it and I had my own field to put it in. I'd hook up a ripper or something to it and go rip with it. That's what this thing's going to do as soon as it gets back. This little girl boy he didn't like what I told him. I said, you know, before he was thinking about trading it, and I told him, I said, you know, you go to one of these Ritchie Brothers auctions, you know, people can come out there the day before and drive all this stuff around. When they get out there and they get in that tractor and half the gears are missing because the clutches are slipping, you're not going to get nothing for it. Mid-roller laying in the road. I didn't take any of that stuff off. And now I gotta go fix that shit. Well, that's not good. It pays to look behind you every now and then. Came off the right side. See the flat spots on it? Huh, man, bearings went out in it. I got to get this out of the road. Well, it's probably hotter than hell too. Gotta get a hold of it on the rubber side. We'll have to turn around, head back to the shop. Inside or outside? Well, I thought it was one of these outside ones. Oh. See that one right there? Yeah, I'd say she's pretty well fucked up. Well, shit. Ain't one thing, it's 100 others. Okay. Well, that sucks. Let's turn the bitch around. County will get pissed about shit like that. They get pissed about these track machines tearing the roads up. so easy going back because we don't have a mid roller on that one side there. Well, I'm pretty sure the transmission's fine. Now we got something else. I'm gonna have to call him and say, you got more money to spend. What is so damn noisy on this thing? Squeaking like. Something on this cab just squeaks like something. Well, guys, I think that's all for this one. Looks like we got her. I got to fix this mid roller here on the track now, and I have to put a new spindle on it for it. All the hell, endless amounts of money going into this thing. Until next time, thanks guys.